How's it going, everyone? This is Jack here with the Commander's Wire, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be another short video. We're just a couple days away from this year's Super Bowl. I'm very excited. Gonna sit back, relax with some friends, and hopefully watch a really good competitive game. And because of that, I'm going to be putting another short video here today. But expect after the Super Bowl a lot more draft content, a lot more free agent content and stuff like that. We're going to be really hitting this offseason hard, as we know that the Commanders really need to nail this offseason in order to get some momentum starting for Jaden Daniels and this Washington Commanders team. If you guys have not already, I'd really appreciate it if you guys went down below, dropped a like, subscribed, and turn on post notifications to know when I post next. I really do appreciate it, and it really helps me out. And as well, it tells me that you guys are liking this type of content and you guys want to see more of this Commanders content in the future. So if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I do appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. If you guys have not seen, the NFL Honors Award ceremony was last night. It announced this year's MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, etc. I saw Matt Stafford won MVP, JSN won Offensive Player of the Year, Teteroa McMillan won Rookie of the Year for the offense, Carson Swessinger won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think Christian McCaffrey won Comeback Player of the Year, and our very own Bobby Wagner won Walter Payton Man of the Year, and I don't think there's anybody more deserving than him. Even though Bobby Wagner has taken a step back on the field, he's an amazing human being off the field. He's an amazing mentor, he's an amazing leader, and as well as in the Washington, D.C. area, he spends a lot of time working with charitable events. He spends a lot of time donating money, and I think he's just an amazing person. And if he doesn't come back to the Washington Commanders as a player, I sure wish we could bring him back just to be another guy in the locker room, maybe even make him like an assistant linebackers coach. I would love that, because I think Bobby Wagner would be an amazing person to keep here in Washington and to keep that type of person in the locker room. So I just wanted to give a quick nod to Bobby Wagner. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and there's no one more deserving than him. So congratulations to you, Bobby Wagner. And let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So I saw a recent article on ESPN. It comes out from NFL Nation on ESPN, and they're redrafting the first 2 rounds of the 2025 NFL class. This is going to be the first 64 picks. And I decided to go through the entire draft and see what they cooked up. Obviously, this is going to be in the, I guess, relative order of positional need that each team had, as well as how these players performed in hindsight. So we're going to be going through the draft. I'm not going to be going through every pick, but I will be highlighting players that we drafted in the first 2 rounds, as well as our new picks that the Commanders chose in the first 2 rounds. So let's get started. So obviously our first round pick came at, I believe, pick 29, where we chose Josh Conerly Jr., which is the tackle out of Oregon. He is definitely still a developing player. He's playing at right tackle, but I believe in a couple years he's going to be a very solid piece on our offensive line. I believe some people are even saying they want to move off of him already. However, even though he's a first-round pick, every college player needs to develop. There's not a lot of guys in each draft that's going to come to a team right away and just be polished and a superstar right away. That is very rare. Jaden Daniels was a rarity. We saw what Drake May, Caleb Williams, what they all did last year. People were already saying that they were busts, and look at where they are now. They just need to develop, they need to find their groove, and that's how every player in the NFL works. But at pick 16, this guy had the Arizona Cardinals choosing Josh Conerly Jr. Obviously, we saw that Josh Conerly wasn't amazing. However, the Cardinals' positional need was offensive tackle, as we saw this season. That offensive line really struggled. Kyler Murray really struggled. They also had a lot of running back injuries, and that entire unit just really struggled over the course of the season. Their original pick was Walter Nolan III, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. I think he's a great player. However, just based off of need, they had the Cardinals picking Josh Conerly Jr. To shore up that offensive line. And with that being said, because Josh Conerly Jr. is no longer there, we're at pick 29, and we need to make a new pick. And they have the Commanders choosing Travion Henderson, running back out of, well, the article says that the running back's out of Iowa State. However, we all know Travion Henderson came from Ohio State with Quinshon Judkins. So they have Commanders choosing Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. And it says that Henderson would have provided Washington with the juice on offense, something it lacked all season. With the Patriots, he became the second player in NFL history to have 2 games, multiple 50-yard rushing touchdowns in his career, per ESPN research, and joining Chris Johnson in 2009, and that was according to John Keim. So I think that Trayvon Henderson is a great player. However, I'm fine with Bill. I think Bill's already great. We got him in the 7th round, and I think he already brings the juice. We already have Jaden Daniels in that run game. That brings a whole nother dynamic to that type of offense. And even though Trayvon Henderson would have been a great addition to the Commanders, I don't think Bill was necessarily the issue with this run game. I think that the passing game, not having Jaden Daniels there all season, really took a toll on the entire offense. Not having Terry as well, that means that Marcus Mariota doesn't have a target to throw to downfield. That means that teams don't need to be scared about the passing game, which means they can stack the box and really focus on the run game, since that was quote-unquote the healthiest part of our offense. And that's kind of the issue, right? So I think Bill, Chris Rodriguez, they did perfectly fine for this offense. However, teams really were able to focus on them more because there was not a passing game to help out the run, if that makes sense. So even though I like this pick, however, I think that we could have had someone else in this position, or even traded back if this were the case in the 2025 draft. Now, next up, we were at pick 61 in round 2, where the Commanders originally chose Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. Now, this article also has the Commanders picking Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss, and I perfectly agree with that. Trey Amos was definitely a highlight of the defense. I really loved how he played. And according to John Keim, he says that Washington liked Amos enough to consider him in the 1st round last April, and we're sticking with him because he is the team's best cornerback before breaking his fibula in Week 10. Amos can succeed in pass or zone coverage, providing flexibility in defensive calls. I think that this is spot on. Trey Amos will definitely be this team's #1 cornerback of the future, and there was really no one else that I really wanted to see in this position. Obviously, there's another guy like Maxwell Hairston. He went, I believe, earlier than this. Yes, he came at pick 30. Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky, went to the Buffalo Bills. So I think that Maxwell Hairston definitely has the talent, but he definitely struggled with a lot of injuries this season, and he could not stay on the field. So he's definitely speedy, but I think Trey Amos just brings that all-around flexibility that I want to see out of a cornerback. Let me know down in the comments, what are your guys' thoughts on this redraft? Would you guys want to see a running back in the 1st round compared to an offensive lineman? Do you guys think that the Commander should have chosen someone completely different? Let me know down in the comments. I personally don't agree with the running back choice. I think there are definitely other needs that the Commanders were needing to look for, but that is also in hindsight, knowing that we got Bill in the 7th round. So who knows? If I were to look at the 1st round and see we got Trayvon Henderson, we could have had someone else in the 7th round. So that's kind of just all hypothetical situations. However, pick 61, round 2, I love Trey Amos. I think he was a great pick there at that spot. So just let me know down in the comments what you guys would have liked to see at pick 29 as well as pick 61. This is going to be the end of this video. Like I said, it's going to be another short one. However, after the Super Bowl, we're going to be hitting the ground hard with a lot of free agent content, draft content, and I'm going to be trying to upload almost every single day. So I would appreciate it if you guys went down below, dropped a like, subscribed, and turned on post notifications to know when I post next, and you guys will be informed and notified whenever I drop a new video regarding the Washington Commanders. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching to the very end. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless, and hail to the Commanders.